welcome to today's edition of the Meeting Point. Today we'll be looking at the topic, Nigeria's socio-economic rebranding, education to the rescue. There is this saying that the product of our universities, colleges of education, polytechnics, and what have you, are not living up to their responsibilities as expected. Whereas outside the country, when our students goes out to study abroad, they excel in every sphere, meaning that we are having some challenges either by way of the quality of lecturers we have in the country, the facilities they use for the training of the students, or the unwillingness of our students to appreciate what the lecturers are doing at the various levels. Today, if you ask some youths, they will tell you that education is a scam. Basically because when they graduate, there is no place for them to work. That is the reason why some persons have decided to take the shortcut, either to look the other way to get quick wet or embark on other vices to engage themselves. But Nigeria cannot remain that way. That is the reason why all hands must be on deck to ensure that we begin to redirect attention of our youths, particularly who are of school age, on the need to embrace education. Whether you have employment immediately you graduate or you don't have. First of all, acquire that requisite knowledge because it will build you for overall participation of the individual in our society. Today, we have in the studio to look into this topic a professional in education development. She is Mrs. Ronke Ugbe, the Chief Executive Officer, Center for Education Development and Skills Acquisition, CEDESA. Madam, you are welcome to the studio.
Thank you, sir.
We have a very vibrant young Deltan who have also distinguished himself educationally and socially. He's a grassroots mobilizer, a social commentator, and the DG Revive Africa Initiative, Ambassador Ugagaoghene Ogheneyole.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, all. Thank you, sir, for having me here.
You are welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much.
Please, we will be looking at this topic, Nigeria socio-economic rebranding, education to the rescue. Let me first of all start with Madam. When we talk about rebranding Nigeria, what do you understand by rebranding?
When we talk about rebranding this nation, we're just trying to have a new Nigerian social economy. We are trying to have what you used to have before, that is not working, and we want to have it rebranded. Because if you look at it now, our nation, what is going on, we all agree that there is need for education to come to the rescue of our socio-economic aspect of the nation. And as such, everything will change. There will be a new order, because education has a lot of roles to play in order to rebrand our socio-economic life in Nigeria.
Okay.
It's very, very important. Education in fact, I would say that without education, a lot of things will go wrong, because illiteracy breeds insecurity. Illiteracy breeds backwardness. Illiteracy brings, a lot of negative and evil in society. So, for our society to be rebranded, there is need for education to take its place. Education has to take its place. We should allow education to take its place, because at its way now, education is not functional as you can see it, and that is why we are all the stakeholders that are expected to be at work. You should have a rethink and say, what can we do? How are we going to have a rebranded social and economic life in our nation?
Yeah. Yole, do you agree that Nigeria needs rebranding?
Yes, of course, Nigeria needs rebranding. We continue to rebrand and until we get the kind of brand we want. First, what is a brand? A brand is an identity that is associated to anything. For instance, when we say Michael Ikeogwu as a man, when I call that name in the society, what resonates in the head of the people? Same thing with Nigeria. When you call that name Nigeria anywhere in the world, what resonates to the people? When you present your green passport anywhere in the world, what do they look at you at? So if you are very conversant with the airports. When you go to international airports and you see people, when they show their Canadian passports, they just flip and go. They show this, even other African countries, they just flip. And when they just see green passport, they just lay hold to it. They look at you again. If you are looking like a criminal, if you are looking like one thing, and so there is need for us to rebrand this country, to give it an identity that befits its size, its resources, both human resources, human capital resources, and both the natural resources that we have. It should also reflect the size, the potentials we have as a country. For now, we can't say we have a Nigeria of our dream. And if we can't say we have a Nigeria of our dream, then we must continue to rebrand the country until we get that Nigeria that we dream of.
Before now, they told me that Nigerians before now don't use visa to go to UK.
Yeah.
At the time when, I can't remember the year, at the time they were even asking Nigerians to visit, you understand? But today it is difficult for a Nigerian to leave the shore of this country, like we just mentioned, displaying our green card. Somebody also said it in the studio here that when you present that green color, they will ask you to stay by the side. But until they are through with some other individuals from other African countries, they will not call the Nigerian to say, come, we cannot attend to you. Where did we get it wrong, Yole?
Yes, I tell everybody that is ready to listen that the beginning and end of our problem is leadership. I tell everybody that is willing to hear that if you place me in a dilemma to choose between all our natural resources, our strength in terms of numbers, and every other thing that makes Nigeria a standing and a potential country, and put me between choosing that and choosing leadership for Nigeria, I will choose leadership. I will tell you with emphasis, I will make this emphasis. Dubai, as it were, is just a desert. The only known water they have in the UAE is a sea of sand. Not even a sea of water. It's a sand, a body of sand moving like a sea. And this is a desert. You could remember some time ago, these people approached Obasanjo in the then military regime in Nigeria to say, we are trying to rebuild our country. We want you to loan us money, which we will pay back, and Nigeria will become a stakeholder. And one of the questions about Obasanjo, I said, how do you plan to repay me? You don't have any resources. All you have is sand. But today, Dubai is the most sought after place around this our vicinity. Dubai is a place everybody, both in the West, in Africa here, everybody wants to go to do business, to go for holiday. I also give you example as Netherlands. If you have known the story of Netherlands had no resources, both on land and in water. What they have, they call it dead waters. No living thing live on the waters of Netherlands. No living thing. You can't go there and fish and get anything. If you also go to their land, you can't plant things and harvest anything. So they had nothing entirely. So what did they do? They got leadership. When they had a visionary leadership, well, they said the water to you is wasted because it's dead water, big, large body of water, but it's wasted because no living thing there. So what did they do? They made sure that they developed their water body and built some of the biggest seaports in the world. And also make sure, because that place is like an interchange. There were some countries that you cannot readily import things into the country without, because they don't have water. You can't ship things. So what did they do? Neighboring countries, they made sure that raw materials for productions in their law, they remove all tax for incoming raw material. So if you import any raw material for production into Netherlands, it's tax-free. you wouldn't pay tax. But if you have processed it and it's going out, you pay tax for export. So if you're a businessman and you have a country, your country is around Netherlands, what you need to do is that if you are importing something into your own country, you pay importation tax. But if you are importing into Netherlands, you will not pay tax. So what do? You build your factory in Netherlands because they also have the water to ship it out. So when you import into Netherlands, you don't pay tax. You build your country in Netherlands, who people will you employ? You employ Netherlands. Yes. And that is how Netherlands grew to become one of the safest countries to live in and to do business. Their economy is one of the best economy in the land, in the world. And a country that cannot offer anything from their land and from their water. But through leadership, I've made 2 examples. So with our numerous, there is no resources that is not in Nigeria. Gold, uranium, oil, anything you can talk, even sun as a resources, water, land, everything. We have it. We have everything. But where can we place ourselves in the Committee of Nations? Because we have failed in leadership. And how did leadership fail? It is not just one process. It is a culmination of processes. For instance, you talk about education today and its failure. If you have I was on a TV program like this, and somebody were talking about how we got children that are wayward like this. I said, see, if you have teachers that were not properly trained, right, and these teachers grow up to become teachers, they will breed worse students. Yes. If you have parents that were not properly groomed as children, they will grow up to become wayward parents that will groom more wayward children. That is how, when you have a leadership that is unchecked, you have children you have a society where you cannot get anything out of it. So I tell you, the problem of Nigeria is purely leadership. But when you leave it at the surface as leadership, begin to blame those people that have political power, people are in place. Leadership in all its sense, from the last circle, leadership, first starting from personal leadership. I believe that Queen Elizabeth said, this woman, Mother Teresa, said that if we want to have a clean world, let everybody start by cleaning his compound. If everybody cleans his compound, the world will be clean. Likewise, if we want to talk about leadership, we should start from the family circle. Where did we lost it? From our values, our cultural values, our principles as a people that have made us rich as a people, our belief systems. Where did we get it wrong? That we now lost everything to trend today. That is where we should begin to look at. Because even if you blame the leader that is at the helm of affair, I want to tell you that these leaders are product of society. They were once children running around in pants. They were once young people that were also going to school. They were once jobless people who later gained job and joined politics and to become leaders. They did not become bad when they became leaders. They were bad through the system before they become leaders. So what they could give is only bad eggs. So what we should begin to rebrand from the family circle, from individual leader, personal leadership. Of course, you are here trying to make sacrifices every day to ensure that the society is being sensitized. You could choose to do other things. As the NUJ chairman of Delta State, you could choose to start going from offices to give people who have not contributed anything to the society awards upon awards and collect money around, as we see in other places. But you chose to be a voice. That is, you choose to create a platform that will enable people to talk about societal issues that will shape our economy. So this is where we got it wrong. The place where everybody don't take responsibility for leadership and we blame every other person.
You'll thank you very much. Yes. If I leave you, I know you will talk for the next 1 hour. Please, let's give Madam the opportunity to also contribute. Do you agree with Yole that we have got it wrong at the leadership level and we need to rebrand ourselves through personal leadership, through family leadership, and through the leadership at the political level?
Yeah, I'll agree with him. Yes, you have got it wrong. And we have to know that when leadership has lost its values, lost the value, you don't see anything wrong in evil. And when evil is even, expanding, nobody's talking about it. If you talk about it, you are the worst enemy. We talk about it, and that is why the issue of value has to be taken seriously. The societal value has changed. Now, nobody cares what is going on in government. All what we want to know is that, am I making enough money? And that is why the young people in the society, they have seen it, that the best thing to do now is to go after money. And that is why you do a lot of evil, all these ritual killings. And that is why we are saying that there's need for the education to rescue the situation. Okay,
but madam, if you look at the caliber of people that we are classifying as those who want to make it quick, they also have education, and that is why they are able to a kind of defraud whoever they defraud through the Yahoo practice. What will you say that they didn't get right that made them not to begin to use education in the wrong direction?
Thank you. We have quality education. We have fake education. Quality education is the one you acquired with with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your intellect. You got the content. You got the knowledge. You have it there. But the fake one that you acquired, you just entered examination hall, you wrote exam, you threw examination malpractice.
You bribed
and that's what is involved now. And those are the people that are into such things. You don't have anything to do with education. Just let them just have a paper, you have the certification, and just go away. So quality education will not allow somebody to go into such evil. You know what qualification does? It makes you to be a very reasonable citizen. Reasonable one. Think about, how am I going to use my fellow human being to make money? For what? If you have quality education, if you acquire quality education, you will not be able to do such things. Those that are doing all those things, they acquire the only fake education. And I tell you, in the next 10 years, if this situation is not arrested, we will see what happens in this country. But we are praying that is where we in the organization, in NGOs, we are trying to sanitize the whole system. That is why we are not keeping quiet. That's why we are just spending our lives, spending our resources to make sure that we give our society, we give the people the needful education, that they will be aware of the need for quality education. So that letting them know, someone that cannot read, they cannot write, but has A's. And a time will come, you will not have teachers, you will not have learners. Because learners and teachers will not know.
So who to teach the other will not be there?
Will not be there. And before we know it, it's going to bounce back to the society. In the health sector, there will be a problem. You will not be able to have quality health care. Education is there. In accounting, trouble. All the sectors will be affected. And that is why now we have to make sure that we have a rebranded socio-economic life.
So Madam mentioned the fact that she classified education into two. Yes. You said the standard one, where you learn with your soul, with your mind, with commitment, with everything, with zeal, with enthusiasm. While the other one is you buy your marks. You come to exam and sort the lecturers, and at the end of the day, you have paper certificate that you cannot defend. Could it be the reason why some people cannot write just an application?
Yes, I want to thank you. I agree with her a lot, but disagree with your saying that a lot of the people who are involved in ritualism and Yahoo are educated. We need to redefine education. They may be literate, but they are not educated. In the right sense, how many people are actually educated in this present day Nigeria?
Yola, before you continue, somebody went to university, graduated, he was awarded degree in any field, went to his service, served, come out with his youth service discharge certificate. He applies to the company as employed. Is that person not educated?
I want to ask you a question. When you go to buy a television, after acquiring the television, they give you receipt, right? When you go home, which one do you watch? Is it the receipt or the television?
I watch the television.
So what is the essence of the receipt? That tells you that
the receipt is to defend you.
The receipt is a proof.
Yes.
Receipt is a proof that you paid for the television.
Yes.
But where the value lies is in the television, not in the receipt. That is why I say, do we really have educated people? We can have literate people, uneducated literate people going around with certificate. I want to ask you, I studied mechanical engineering. How many, if with the, even with this certification current is flying around, let us bring all the engineers in Nigeria and put them in a class and give them their level of examination and check how many people that are going to pass that examination. Will you say they are educated? You talked about core members. I served. I have a lot of people that serves in my office right now. You see a society where core members cannot write their name correctly. They don't know where to put capital letters and small letters. That cannot come out to speak a simple and correct English. That cannot teach any subject or any topic within its field, is their field of study. Is that one education? That is where we even beginning to talk about what education is. That is where, because you said the problem is that, do you think when you talked about people graduating and not having work, the essence of education, the true essence of education is not to graduate into job seekers. That is where we have problem. We need to redefine education. Education is not a process you go through and you now acquire a certificate that qualifies you as a job seeker. Education is a process you go through that exposes you to the knowledges to identify problem in the society and give you a glimpse into how to solve this problem. In solving this problem, employment comes.
I want to disagree with you.
Okay.
You are a mechanical engineer.
Yes.
Since you graduated, how many cars have you been able to repair, or how many generators have you been able to fix, or direct those who are working there to fix?
Now let me ask you. After graduating as an engineer, I chose another passion that is taking me out. But I want to ask you a question. If when you go to class and they are teaching further maths, and they say, or they are teaching mathematics, and they say find S, where in the society do you think that they do work, any work that applies to looking for X? Now, what mathematics was teaching you all the while you were looking for X is how to solve problem. It is called problem solving skill.
Mathematics problem.
Wait, no, not mathematics problem. In every problem, let us put mathematics into the word issues. If you have any problem at all, the first place to start is to identify what the problem is. What the problem is X. And how do you identify what the problem is? There is a formula for every problem. Once you have said, okay, what is the problem? You say the problem is S. And how do you create a formula? You use known variables to identify, to find out, to determine the unknown variables. No. You use known variables, not mathematics. You use known variables to identify the unknown variables. Yeah. Now, when you know that there are three things, like we are here, somebody is putting on red cap, and Yole is here. Mrs. Ronke is here, and somebody is putting on red cap. Who is that person? That person becomes S. The next thing is, when you have this relationship, there is a third relationship, which is the platform we are having. The next question you ask yourself is, who has this platform? And they say is Mr. Michael Ikeogwu. And they say, is Michael Ikeogwu a part of the people you are seeing? Say no. Then the third person must be Michael Ikeogwu. That is how education is. Education points yourself, you to body of knowledge that makes it possible for you to identify problems and solve them. What I'm saying, what you are telling us is like carrying out an experiment in the laboratory. I want to,
in Nigeria today. What we see when they ask you to apply for a job. There's where is it going now?
Yes,
vacancy. A publication made now for vacancy. They gave a requirement. Listen.
Yes.
Nobody asks you to come and tell us X as you have defined. The first thing Nigeria will ask you, are you qualified? You say yes. Can we see your paper certificate? Yes. Nobody will now look at what you are going to offer. The quality of the education that you had from your.
It's not true.
Well, listen, just wait. For your institution.
Yes, sir.
That is the reason why we have big engineers. That's the reason why we have big lawyers, we have big journalists, we have big doctors, and even teachers. Do you understand? In your school, I don't know when you graduated, I don't know when. Yeah. How many laboratories did you have? How many problems were you able to solve that have never been solved before your time? How many innovations were you able to bring as a mechanical engineer? No, you said mechanical. That you were able to come up with solutions that you came up with those X you are looking for in your class.
Thank you. Let me begin with where you started from. It is not true that the only thing they look at for is certificate. I mean, in that sector, human resource management sector, I do capacity building, I do training, I do recruitment for organizations, and I do a lot of interview. When you want to give people a job, or when you put out a vacancy, there is what we call pre-qualification requirement. They now have qualification requirement, and they now have all hands skill for the job specification. Now, what you just mentioned is the pre-qualification. What they are saying is that the level when a vacancy goes out in any organization, the first that what that organization is telling you is that we have a problem that needed to be solved. But we cannot just bring a roadside conductor to solve this problem. There is a level of knowledge you should have to qualify you to be able to have insight into this problem. That is the pre-qualification. So that everybody that has masters in so area, for instance, anybody that has BSc in mass communication should be able to do journalism at the basic level. Yes. Then going further, the next thing is when you have come, you have the result. Okay, good. The next thing is come and sit for exam.
So that we don't lose focus on where we are going to. That's why I want to bring you back. You understand? Because if I leave you, the examples you are going to give will take us another 20 minutes before we now go back to the topic we are discussing today. Madam said, so that you understand where we are coming from, that there are two qualifications, the classification of education now. Those who came with their minds, soul, and body to learn. Those are the people that will learn holistically. When they come out, they become better citizens in the society. That whoever that gets such education will not go into ritual killing, will not go into yahoo, because he or she believes that she has acquired the knowledge that will enable her to earn a living. But the other one that didn't go through that hog, that went to school with bribing the lecturers, paying his or her way to acquire the certificate is the fake one. Let's concentrate on that, so that we don't mislead our.
The question I asked that brought us to.
You say those who are killing now, they are not educated.
And I said 90% of the people you see in the society today are not really educated. First, when the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? The first place you have to come from is why is it that people feel comfortable to pay and sort their way through school without trying to sit down to learn that thing? It's because they have a vague, incorrect mindset or belief about what education is. These are some of the lies we must begin to break to have holistic education. First is that we should stop telling people, making people to believe that once you go to school and graduate, that is an automatic ticket to getting a job and a good life. What is an automatic ticket to getting a good life is the application of the knowledge what you get from school. So if I know that even if I have distinction from school and that I have the prerequisite knowledge to identify problems in the society and solve it, whichever, if I come out, I will still not make it in life. If I understand this thing, I will not sort. I will prefer to recite a course that I failed than to sort a lecturer.
So what do you make of a father that his or her son want to write just primary examination, and they go to the center and bribe the invigilators? Madam, what do you think such parents are doing to that child?
Well, I can say that such parents, they are not helping the child. They are not helping the child to be future ready. They are not helping the child to acquire the knowledge that can make him or her to be able to, render service that can help him to earn a living, according to Yole now, which I believe is saying the right thing. That education is meant to make us to be able to provide solutions to problems. It's able to solve problems. And when you acquire education that, like in such a father, the person is not educated. Even though they are maybe they have gone to university, they have principals, they are headmasters, and the rest. all they say is help. Let us help these children.
Yes.
When they get to university, they are going to cope. If you cannot, my husband is a lecturer in the university. Every day we complaining. He said, "Please, I don't know what this one is writing. Whether German, whether and he's an engineer,
whether French.
You don't know that. Please, you're in secondary school. You have to help us." I said, "It's not our fault. We have been trying to do our best. We are taking them in Queen Primer and the rest. A, B, C, D. It's for the foundation." I was privileged to supervise a primary six examination a few years ago. And I said I would never try it. I would never, if they call me, I would never follow them to do it again. Come and see headmasters coming to me, say, "Madam, please, Madam, please." I said, no, please let this child, let him or her write. I wrote my WAEC more than 3 times, and I got it. I went to OAU. I didn't do any exam practice. Let this child learn. Let this child learn. So we have to really re-educate the populace on the need of quality education, because they are not aware. They don't know. They think they are helping. At times when you ask students, say, "Why you don't want to do exam practice?" They will tell you, "No money to register again. The money is too much." And we have to appeal to principals. The money is too much. And if you pay 50,000 now or 40,000, when are you going to get another one to register? Read first. When you read, let the things sink in your brain. The wise questions, they are very easy. They are not difficult. Learn, then you can write. So we have to sound this one.
Madam, from what the information here, the Chief Executive Officer, Center for Education Development and Skills Acquisition,
Yes.
CEDESA. You have an NGO that is campaigning for quality education.
Yes.
What do you do?
Okay, what you do is that we are into education development, really, because what brought us into that platform, to that organization, because when I newly joined the teaching service, I discovered that SS3 students, and that was as work at 1990 something, couldn't write anything. To write simple essay, counting lines and writing like German or this, I started saying, what? I was thinking about it. What can we do? What can we do to change the situation? We were just thinking what to do until we started to establish this organization. And we started by inviting all the students during long vacation. We said we have to address this issue. During long vacation, we established long vacation coaching classes in three secondary schools in my local government, Ugagaoghene local governments, boys secondary school, girls secondary school, grammar school. We employed teachers and corpers to teaching them English, mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology. And they were not wasting their time roaming about the street. We were trying to develop them. I'm not telling them that education pays. After teaching them, you let them know that your morals is very important. You have to be this, you have to be that. Teaching them values and the rest. So those children, they start getting the gist that education is the best. What you do is we mentor children, we mentor young people for academic excellence, because we have seen that children going through school without acquiring the knowledge will not do our nation any good. It's not going to get us into the freedom we are talking that we have in this nation, and it's going to give, because we undirected citizens anywhere we go. But Nigerian young people, they are second citizens, and it shouldn't be so. So we take upon ourselves to be training these children, mentoring classes, training and teaching.
Okay, I learned you had a program today. What was the program all about? Okay,
the program is Change Makers for Education Transformation and Development. The program, like you said, that is like a follow-up of, because we just did one not quite long on Education Day, 24th of January. I think we should be aware of it. Education Day by UNESCO. Now, everybody in the world celebrates Education Day, and the topic of that Education Day it was changing course and transforming education. That every stakeholder must change course. The teacher, the parents, everybody. Where you are missing it, change from that and begin to do something impactful in order to transform education. In order to and so now this organization, I came up with this one. Since we are in our midterm break, that we can engage these children during the midterm break, so that they will not be running about playing games and the rest, all these phone games and the rest. So we call them together to educate them, and not only the parents, not the students, parents, or other education stakeholders, that everybody.
Why did you involve the parents?
Parents are very, very important. You cannot isolate the parents from children. If the children are educated and the parents are not educated, it will still affect them negatively.
Do you support
yes, the question you asked that led to this has just buttressed the need. You said parents go to as low as
okay. So they need to all of them because as stakeholders.
Leadership failure. Yeah. What we do is we become irresponsible fathers, breeding irresponsible children that will not take responsibilities. To the extent that is even good. You see parents calling teachers to take excuse and lie on behalf of these children. That, I sent the child on errand, that is why he has to call late. Please don't beat him, don't do this. You see children making inquiries to know if they flog their children in the school, and if they flog children in that particular school, they take the children away. You see children going to school to fight their children failed class. They say, don't fail my children, keep passing them. I'm paying too much for you to allow them to repeat class. And sometimes when the child fails, the parents say they are not teaching him well, that is why he failed, and they're taken to another school. If they are not teaching him well, what about others that pass? Are they not from the same class?
Same class, yeah.
Then you go to senior, like you said, you pay for a child to sit for a child. And how do you expect this child to present himself in the future? And the truth is that what we don't understand is that these children will make the leaders of tomorrow. No leader today fell from heaven. You are teaching them how to lie, corruption, how to circumvent this system. And the truth is that for every of these things you do, thinking you are helping them, you are weakening their character. You are weakening their value. You are weakening principles. You are breaking these things. You take them to school as far as to write post-jam, to even do clearance. A child that is above 18 that just gained admission into the university, you drive him across states to go. Why not ask? Let him pass through the process of doing registration and learn through the process to become a man. That is why you have children who graduate. Even when you are talking about this scam, many of the people in those scam, 14, 15, 16, are they educated? Some of them drop out of sub-secondary school. Are they employable even if the job is available? Are they employable? Do they even have the common certificate to be employed? For those who have the certificate, can they feel if you bring a mass communication, someone who just graduated, a NYSC person, to sit down here? How many of them can sit down here as somebody who just finished as a mass communication student to address the public? So it is an act of irresponsibility, and that is why I must commend that. I was privileged to be in that program, and it was a stakeholders summit.
Okay, you attended?
Yes, it was a stakeholder summit in that program where every stakeholder, they were talking about the role of parents in education transformation and development, the role of the media, the role of journalists, the role of teachers, the role of government. And to tell you the impact it made was that after the program, the stakeholders that came said, no, there are not enough stakeholders here. Let us redo this program in Sontagu. We are ready to partner with CEDESA now. I was part of the people that made that commitment, and other persons, to have a partnership with CEDESA, to have a broader stakeholders meeting, because we must make this discussion. If not, in the future, we will not have culture. Education is to sustain culture, because if you don't have education, you will not have your police, you will not have your medical doctor, you will not have your civil servants, you will not have the teachers, you will not have the lawyers. And if you have this, if you don't have this thing, this culture, this law structure has been broken down. Okay. So we must begin to have conversation on how we rebrand our education. And it's not one person thing. Education is a community thing. From government to journal, to media, to parents, to teachers, to everybody that is involved.
I want to ask, we are faced daily with challenges in our society.
Yes, sir.
From one challenge to the other. But how do you think education can help us solve some of these social vices that we have? Remember, the topic is Nigerian socio-economic rebranding, education to the rescue. How can we use education to rescue this country?
Education will rescue this country as the government already will not get tired. Will not get tired, because education is an industry that needs it's like Oliver Twist, that needs more and more and more funding and the rest. So our government should not be tired, and they should encourage those people that want to get education to the next level. They should encourage them. They should not be cutting them. They should encourage them. People that want to come out and say, let us do this way. This is how it's going to work. They should encourage them. And also, they should forget all this fathalism and the rest. That if you don't have the qualification, they can patch it.
So everything should be on merit.
On merit.
If you are not there, you are not there. That will encourage those who are working hard to continue.
Yes.
What about the government's role? Some people are complaining of poor facilities, poor funding and all that.
Yes, a lot of things are there. One is poor facilities. Two is poor funding. I agree. The third is lack of welfare for teachers. If you don't pay the teachers well, they will make the student to pay from their nose, and that is why they encourage sorting and all that. If a teacher is well paid and you approach that teacher for sorting, he will walk you out of his office, right? And then there should be discipline instilled to checkmate both the teachers and students to ensure that these are being met. Then the most critical thing is that our education, our curriculum must be rigid to capture our current challenges and be more practical to make these students begin to solve these problems from in school. I remember in the school I graduated from, Federal Polytechnic Nekede, we have a polytechnic radio station and TV station that was run by students of the Department of Mass Communication, and they give them time schedule. It's part of their continuous assessment that you have to come up on radio, you have to come up on newspaper, you have to do all these things. So if everybody does 40% practical of what he's doing, by the time he's graduating, he's abreast that if you graduate as a mechanical engineer, you can go back to the field to repair vehicles. If you graduate as a maintenance office person, you can go and repair AC. If you are agricultural technologies, you can bring core innovations that will be able to advance the agricultural sector.
Okay,
this is the issues.
Thank you very much. I think we will continue. It's a conversation that we are not going to end today. From time to time, we'll invite people like Mrs. Ronke Ugbe to come and talk about our education, how we can really use education to redirect the attention of our youth towards building a varied and egalitarian society that will be better for all of us. Oyeyole, I want to thank you for making it to this program today. Oyeyole is the DG Revive Africa Initiative. I want to thank you for making it to this program. Mrs. Ronke Ugbe is the Chief Executive Officer, Center for Education Development and Skills Acquisition, CEDESA. Madam, we are welcome. I thank you for joining us today. The topic has been the Nigerian Socio-Economic Rebranding Education to the Rescue, and the program has been the meeting point. Our guests have been able to really point out that our education needs to be rebranded towards ensuring that Nigeria is also rebranded, because without a solid and functional education, our desire to have a good environment to live may not be achieved, because education is the foundation to every growth and development of society. I am Michael Ikeogwu. Join us tomorrow.